Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. It's warm today, okay? Heat index is 111, 112, but it's not too hot to have a cup of hot afternoon coffee. I'm a little crazy when it comes to that. I like it. It gets you sweating even more, and sweating's actually a pretty good thing. People are terrified to sweat. They think it's awful. It's about the best way that you can detox, by just getting yourself hot, and this is one way. I do want to say that, in case you haven't noticed, the channel broke the 100,000 mark, which has taken a lot longer than it should have. Probably should have done this at least 6 months to a year ago, but you know, when YouTube suspends your YouTube channel 3 times in 12 months, it slows growth down, and so it's hard to get to that. But I want to thank you all for your support, and I want to give a special thanks to another YouTuber, Risky Krisky. Some of you know who I'm talking about. He posted on his Twitter, X now I guess, but Twitter and Telegram channel, encouraging his listeners to come over and help me kind of get up over that hurdle of 100K. I don't know if anyone else has done that, and if you have, thank you, but I do know that he did. So special thanks to Risky Krisky. I know you probably all jumped on this video because of the title. And I'm going to talk about something very different than what you think. I'm not here to analyze the song. I've had actually several people email me asking for me to analyze the Richmond north of Richmond, or try that in a small town. Both of those songs have dominated the charts over the last few weeks. In fact, I just looked today, right now, of the top 10 songs in the United States in all genres. That Oliver Anthony, which is the Richmond north of Richmond, he has 4 songs, the number 1, number 2, and a couple others. And then Jason Aldean's song, it's Try That in a Small Town, is number 3. And they've been dominating. I mean, we're talking millions, tens of millions, I don't know how much. I mean, I have no idea how many views and downloads and shares and likes and stuff of these 2 songs, but it's probably a lot. I mean, a lot, and you know that. Some of you have different opinions about each of those songs, and I'm here to tell you that I'm not here to talk about them that much. I know, it's disappointing, but it's not a clickbait title, so stick with me on this. My analysis of this, if I can speak correctly, isn't so much the songs, but the people's reaction to these songs. I've heard over the last few weeks with these 2 songs, and other times when there's some other song or a movie, you know, the movie, oh goodness, it just slipped my, Sound of Freedom. There we go, Sound of Freedom. When those kind of things pop up in pop culture, let's say, and there's this overwhelming support from the conservative or from just America of something that has traditional conservative or even biblical values, I think a lot of people on our side say, see, that's what we're saying. See, we still are in control. See, we still have a voice. We're still that silent majority. We're still the ones that's getting things done. We still have that power. Look at this. I mean, and I certainly don't care anything about a lot of different kind of pop culture things, but apparently these songs have kicked people off the top of the charts, like Taylor Swift. I guess she just had some new song released. I don't know. I couldn't name probably 1 or 2 of her songs, but apparently they've kicked her off the top of the charts, and a few others. So you've got this, and it doesn't even matter to me whether you're talking about the Oliver Anthony song. It's just something he wrote, and it's a simple recording, small town man, and then of course Jason Aldean is a big name, right? Big country music name, versus the mainstream entertainment industry, right? To me that I'm seeing is that there are so many people that this resonates with. They see the things that are going on in our country and in our world, and they hate it. They're sickened by it. They're just disgusted. Could it be half or more of the American population? Very possible. I think it is. I think if you could ask every American, I think that at least half, if not more, would be very disgusted with what's going on in America. But where I want to caution is that most of you, and maybe folks like us, they see that as a positive thing, that, hey, that's great. That means that this New World Order stuff, that this World Economic Forum, globalist, Biden, Hillary, Obama, Soros, Rothschilds, all these people, they're not going to win, right? They're not going to win. The Klaus Schwabs of this world aren't going to win because, you know, this song is popular, and that just proves that there's that many conservative, traditional valued people. The problem is, and this is where I you know, find a rain cloud in the nice clear sky here. The problem is that nothing's changing, right? Certainly there's how many gun owners in America? I've lost track. I don't really even keep track of it anymore. Tens of millions of gun owners in America, you know, 100 million or whatever it is. These tens of millions of views and downloads, this super popular songs that are dominating, that are sending a message, and this isn't the first time, there's been others, that's dominating the charts. But nothing's happening because of it. There's nothing to show for. You know, we see all of these people out there that you and I would say are like-minded, probably. They probably have very similar political beliefs, similar moral standing, similar religious beliefs. And yet we still are in a kind of a losing battle, it seems, as God-centered, family-focused, moral, traditional beliefs. And I wonder what's going on. Why is it? Well, to be kind of nasty about it, I think it's because listening to the music, to these songs, and please don't think that I'm criticizing either of these songs or either of these artists or the movies or anything like that that are doing a good job of portraying these things. I'm not. But people listen to the songs and it kind of fulfills that emotional need there is to kind of be rebellious, you know. Most good red-blooded, you know, patriotic Americans envision this day that's kind of like, you know, the Minutemen of the revolution, the colonial men that stood up, you know, the Sam Adams and the Patrick Henrys and the George Washingtons that stood up against tyranny. But it's not happening. And I think part of the reason why it's not happening is these things just kind of soothe the soul, and then we move on and we're like, yeah, those rich men up there in Washington, D.C., they don't care about us. They're taxing us to death. Our dollar's not worth anything. But I'm still going to go to work, and I'm going to pay my taxes, and I'm going to abide by the laws, and I'm not going to speak out too much because they are really controlling everything that we say, and they're monitoring everything we say and do. And if I speak out of line too much, well, they could, you know, Utah me or Ruby Ridge me. You know, that, so I've got to make sure that my disgruntledness of the system only goes so far, right? I know there's going to be some of you saying, well, what are you doing? Are you paying your taxes? Have you, you know, stood up and done stuff? That's not what I'm advocating. I'm just simply making an analysis of this. And I wonder, seeing this stuff and hearing this stuff, if it's doing good, or is it not really doing anything other than just satisfying that emotional rage and anger and hurt and sickness and sorrow of seeing how this country is going downhill so fast? That's why, as much as it sounds like a big old Debbie Downer, that's why I believe that the country's done. I don't personally. I'm not saying I'm right. You can argue with me, you can present your points, that's fine. You could be right and I could be wrong. I personally do not believe that there's any, I hate to use the word because it's not a spiritual thing, but salvation for this country. And I don't mean in a spiritual Jesus salvation. I'm saying I don't see that there's any way for this country to come back from where it's at now without going through an absolute catastrophic collapse. You know, there's no way to rebuild this. It has to be just basically torn down to the bottom and started all over. New foundation and everything. So I don't think that it's going to happen. And I think that instead of it actually almost happening, or people becoming more and more active, standing up and saying, we're not tolerating this stuff. You're not bringing that stuff in our town. You're not bringing that stuff in our schools. You know, ATF, FBI, you know, whatever it is, the Antifa, all these types of organizations, not happening. Abortion's not happening. You know, all of these things. The reason why I think it's not happening is because people are just, you know, they're too complacent. They're terrified. They're terrified. We've developed a system that everyone is so tethered to. Like, we have to have this system for us to have any kind of normal existence. You know, we've convinced ourselves the only way for us to live outside the system, we have to live like some tribe in Africa or some tribe down in South America, right? That there's no possible way for us to have roads and electricity and houses and things like that if we don't have all of this controlling system around us. And we're not willing to give it up. We're not. And hearing a song like these, while they're good songs for the most part, I'm not saying they're great or bad or good or nothing. These songs, they inspire us and kind of bring out this emotion in us that we're just like, yes, that song is speaking about me. It speaks for me. But unfortunately, we're not doing anything about it. And that's happened for a long time now. It's happened for generations. This problem that we're having today should have been dealt with 100 years ago. It should have been dealt with. It should have been dealt with back when they got the Federal Reserve Act passed, and the Income Tax Act, and then the NFA, the firearms, that all of that. When those things started happening, there should have been an absolute uprising. There should have been a civil war at that point. But it's come and gone, and people are just slowly being cooked like the frog in the frying pan. And now, when we realize that, wow, what's happening, and we want to stand up and speak out and maybe actually completely resist, well, we're too controlled. We're too in the frying pan now. We don't know how to get out. And if we do, we can't exist without it, because we're tethered to that so much. So when I see these kind of songs pop up, they're great. If you want to listen to them, you know, some people don't like both of the songs because there's curse words in it. I completely respect that. That's not the point that I'm getting at, though. The point is that, unfortunately, I see these as just kind of symbolic of what's going on in America. People that are just sick and tired of the garbage. We absolutely hate it. We're sick that you can't watch a TV show, or you can't allow your children to enjoy any kind of TV, movies, entertainment, internet, anything, without them being inundated with the transgender stuff and gay stuff and you know, anti-God stuff. It's all over the place. You know, your parents are stupid and worthless and dumb. Here, do this cool TikTok thing that's going to destroy your life, but it'll make you popular for a few minutes. You know, you can't go anywhere and turn anything on without the family unit. It's awful. It's stupid. It's archaic. Men are stupid. You know, God is dead, and, you know, don't need to worship him. You know, let's worship the trees. We're all God. It's, you know, we're all Christ. You know, that's the new stuff. And we're sick of it. We're absolutely sick of it. But unfortunately, being sick of it isn't doing any good. It's not changing anything. The same losers that song's talking about in Richmond, the same worthless parasites that are sucking your life out of you, your dollar, your wealth, your land, your energy, everything, your rights, those same people, they just keep getting elected every year. Every time they keep getting elected. Most of those people have been in the office over 50 years, at least a few decades. They go in not worth a whole lot of money and come out worth hundreds of millions of dollars, making less than $200,000 a year. How's that so? They stay there till they're practically dead. I mean, some of them, they're as of right now, they're literally almost wheeling their dead body into Congress or to the Senate chambers. I mean, that's how pathetic it is. And nothing's being done about it. Not a thing. Not one thing's being done about it. And it's unfortunate that these songs that speak so loudly to us that it's like they're coming from us, from our heart. Like, that's exactly how I feel. I'm so sick of this stuff. I'm sick of our cities being turned into garbage dumps in third world countries and turned over to crime for some woke agenda. I'm tired of my wealth and my hard-earned money being spent away and given to oligarchs and criminals all over the world. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of them killing us off. I'm sick of us messing up our children's minds, messing up their bodies now. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them destroying and mocking the God that created this all. I'm sick of that. I'm sick of them trying to tear it down. We all are. But unfortunately, nothing's being done about it. And I think that's the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be that way. I'm not advocating you go out and do anything. I think we're too far past that point now. I don't know if there's enough people and enough organization and enough stuff to do that anymore. Maybe on small local levels, regionally, but to make a complete national change, I don't even know that that's possible anymore. I'm not saying it isn't, I'm just saying I don't know. But what I do know is going to happen is that this path that this nation, this civilization is on, is not sustainable. It is not. You do your research in your history. It's not sustainable. Read your Bibles. It's not sustainable. There is nothing indicating that this is sustainable. There has been predictions going back to the 1970s that we are in a civilization level collapse. Solid Harvard level predictions. That's what we're watching. And as much as that hurts us, as much as that terrifies us, because there's so much unknown, and as much as the reality is that some of us just aren't going to make it, it's probably the best thing for us. Because this old building, this old house that we call America, it's too far rotted. Termites have eaten it up. Foundation's junk. Everything's fallen in. And we can't keep putting Band-Aids and sticking a new board up here and there, or hoping that if we slap a new fresh, coat of paint on, that it's going to be better. Well, in a couple of years, if we just repaint it, this old building will look good. It's rotten to the core. And that's sad. And that's heartbreaking. Because myself and many of you consider ourselves ardent patriots for the cause of America. But it's too unfortunate that it's gone. And we have to realize that. And what we have to be doing is preparing ourselves for this fall. Preparing ourselves for this collapse, because it's coming at us. And we need to be serious about it. And I believe a collapse of this magnitude is going to be so much more catastrophic than anything humanity's ever seen. You need to be getting your houses in order, folks. And preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.